Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here again.
So nice to have you once more. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the sixth house.
Yes.
So we've been through a few of the houses already. We're clearly going to get through them all eventually.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know, in astrology there are 12 houses, and each of the houses are an area of life that is represented in your life somewhere, and planets and points in these houses affect that area of life. So this time we're looking at the sixth house, which everybody has, so everyone can relate to.
Right, even if you don't have anything in it. And we've talked about this before, but it never hurts to rehash that the planets are basically like the characters in your play of your life, and the signs are the costumes or the accoutrements. They're the planets are the actors, the signs are the characters, and the houses are the set of the play.
That's right. That's right.
So if you have 12 houses, you have 12 areas of life in which those characters play out their dramas.
Their dramas in your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is it. So everybody has a sixth house, and it could be in the Placidus system, which is what we do. Yeah. It could be any width. It could be fat or thin.
Yeah.
You seem to have quite a slim one, Most people are just kind of, around 30 degrees, give or take a whisker.
Yeah.
But it could be any width as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can just go through, what we're going to do is go through some of the main themes for the sixth house. We could just touch on, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the main themes in the sixth house is work.
Yeah.
And this is anyone who has a job. Jobs are in the sixth house, and wages and your occupation.
Right.
So back in the day when people said, what do you do for a living? They would say, well, my occupation is, I don't know, plumber or
welder
or sheep shearer or
like in Flashdance, welder by day, dancer by night.
Oh, yeah.
There's a deep cut for you. That one hasn't been rebooted. Anyway.
So the difference between the work that happens in the sixth house is that's everyday jobs. And back in the day, a job meant a lump of work, or as we do today, we would talk about piecework. A gig work. So back in the day, sixth house employment used to be paid a wage weekly. So they get paid every Friday. And in many countries, it's still the case that you get paid every Friday if you have a job.
Yeah.
Whereas 10th house careers are generally salary men, and they get paid monthly. So that's a subtle difference there.
For sure. And also, I think it's something like the people who report to you as well is represented by the sixth house, right? So if you have
subordinates.
You have a household, right? Yeah, exactly. It's your household staff, the upstairs downstairs kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's whatever that show was.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So the thing is, with the sixth house, if you've got planets there, they're definitely going to indicate the type of work you could be doing. Otherwise, you would look at the cusp of the sixth house and see what that sign is, and then discover which planet then has dominion over the sixth house. Right.
And it's also the natural house of Virgo.
Yes.
Which then brings in all kinds of things like your small animals, like your pets, your habits, your daily habits. So that's a really good and modern take on it.
Yeah.
Instead of just being about work, it's also about the daily things that you do for yourself.
Yes.
And those little service-oriented things, or the things you do for other people, whether you get paid for them or not.
Yeah. Are you being served? Yes.
Yeah.
But in general, in today's world, people who have a job, and virtually every person I know has a job, or they may have a career, or they could have both, or a couple of jobs.
Yeah.
Maybe they're multitasking. And if there are planets then in the sixth house, these are indications of multiple jobs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if you only have one planet in your sixth house, you are more likely to have one job at a time, rather than someone who maybe has two or three planets there, who is likely to have 2 or 3 jobs at a time in the nature of the planet.
Yeah. So do you have anything in your sixth house?
I do not have not a sausage.
And I have Chiron, and I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think I also have Eris.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because that's always in Aries, right?
Yes.
I mean, always in the last, 80 years or so.
Let's just zip up your chart here and double check on that. And there
they are. Yeah, they're not conjunct though, but
yeah,
close.
Oh no, they are. Yeah, 13 and 20. Yeah, that would be.
Great.
That would be.
Yeah, cool.
So in that case, then do you have 2 jobs?
I have had 2 jobs a lot of the time, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And typically, because let's just unpick that then. We'll go through the planets a bit later. But with Chiron there, that would be something that would, where you're the teacher or the healer or something like that in your job.
Not yet.
Not yet. And then, of course, Aries would be.
Yeah, disruption, discord,
yes.
The goddess of discord.
Strife and discord. So
I mean, those are not 2 comfortable planets. And I have actually had jobs from such a young age. Like back in the day, babysitting and gardening and doing things after
multiple
school
jobs.
And working all summer, just from a very early age. Yeah. Probably younger than most kids go to work today.
Oh,
because it was a different time.
Yes, you weren't quite plowing the fields, though, were you? No.
No, I was working in like a deli or something like that. Or as I say, gardening.
Yes.
Mowing lawns and trimming hedges and
stuff like that. Yeah.
Whacking weeds.
Yeah. So, but, for many people, what they do for a living is who they are.
Yeah.
And not everybody, but some people definitely say, oh, yes, I'm Bob the plumber or whatever they say. And that is, they actually resonate very closely with what they do.
Yeah.
So that when the time comes when they may find themselves unemployed at some point, then there's a crisis. And these are the times they come to astrologers where they're saying, I got laid off. When am I going to get a job?
Yeah.
So you will get that as well. And you would want to check transits and so on. So it's a big thing. It's a big, it's a way, it's what do we do all day?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And I mean,
what are we occupied with?
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's becoming more and more because as we were talking about the gig economy and that kind of thing of, piecework or whatever, and the threat of AI taking jobs or whatever that may turn out to be, this is going to become a more and more interesting question of like, what do you do all day if the economy changes in such a way that not only, are people put out of work, but maybe they're put out of work and then there's some kind of a basic income or what have you, but that doesn't satisfy the need to be busy all day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's
to be occupied with something.
Yeah, interesting thing.
Yeah, so that's that's really a very frequent theme that crops up. And the other one is that of employees. So if you are in a position where you have people working for you, they will be represented in your 6th house.
Yes, for sure.
And this includes also people like, as I say there, the pool guy, if you've got a pool, the pool guy, and the lawn guy, the guy who comes and mows the lawn. And really, it's people who you pay to do something for you. That wouldn't necessarily work for you, but 100 years ago, that is what it meant, that you had all these employees as well. So, but if you have a business and you're running and you've got employees, they're going to be represented in your 6th house too. And that's then when we get to this one that you alluded to earlier about service, where 100 years ago, your servants were shown in the 6th house. So if you have a cleaning lady, she's represented in the 6th house.
Yeah.
And
or a nanny.
Or a nanny.
Or babysitters or
any of these people.
Tutors, people who come and
the piano teacher.
Help with your kids.
Yeah. Yes. And then also people who serve you, such as these days it's Uber drivers and the bellhop and servers in a restaurant, they would be represented. And your relationship with them is shown in that 6th house as well.
Very interesting, yeah.
If you're an employee and you happen to see your boss's chart, you can see how they're going to treat you by what's in their 6th house. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's one of the things about that. I do have an article about the people in your houses, and we can, if we have time at the end, we'll go over that as well. Yeah. And then also health now is a big thing for 6th house. It's health, isn't it?
Definitely.
So in general, planets, in the nature of the planet, that's how you get ill.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Yikes. Yes. So 6th house illnesses are those that you will recover from. Mm-hmm. So it could be as my examples are, like catching the flu, or if you break your ankle, you will recover and move on. Whereas critical illness is then 12,000.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned that in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
But how is your health? And when transits come through your 6th house, that's when people start getting ill with one thing or another.
Right.
So at the moment, even though I've got nothing in my 6th house, I do have Pluto transiting through it. So it's giving an indication that there might be some health issues there, but we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, we will see. So let me ask you then. I mean, you don't usually get ill. I don't think I've known you to be ill ever once.
Well, I'm certainly not going to come to record a podcast if I'm ill. So,
but you're not saying to me, I got COVID again. And,
no, actually, I somehow have avoided catching COVID.
Really?
I know. I mean, part of it's because I work.
You must be the only person on the planet left.
Well, Roger supposedly hasn't either, my partner. But then again, after just this last year, you get sick, you just stay home. Like, I'm not going to go get tested every time. So I've had colds, but
you would know if you had it.
Yeah, exactly. Neither of us have been that sick that it would be like,
Wow.
Yeah.
The irony, right? Because as I say, I've had COVID 3 times, and it know when you've got it. There's no question that if there weren't drugs, So that's kind of interesting. But again, we would want to. I mean, I don't want to say, you're normally going to get ill in the nature of Chiron.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what is that even?
Well, it's got to be your Achilles heel, basically.
Yeah.
And Eris, which is
Discord.
Struck down. What are we saying?
Right. I mean, whatever it is, it'll make me stronger in the nature of Chiron.
And you will heal.
Yeah.
You will definitely heal.
Yeah.
When that time comes,
Yeah. I mean, my favorite hobby is roller skating, and I sure enough fall quite often. But it is, it's a.
You haven't had a big one, no.
Well, I've had a lot of bruises. I haven't broken anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Not something, but
it's all healing beautifully.
Yeah, as I said in Days of Thunder, Rubbin' is racing, Remember that movie? Yeah.
Okay, so then we also get onto something which I'm calling routines.
Yeah.
So this is your day-to-day stuff.
Right.
So, and there's very much about morning routines now. Everyone's talking about their morning routine and what Navy SEALs do in their morning routine. And, they get up at 4 a.m. and take a cold plunge or something.
Yeah.
So I hear.
Yeah.
But anyone who you have a routine, you get up, you go into the bathroom, you do your thing, you come back, you get dressed, you do this, you do your makeup, your hair, you go out the door, blah, blah. There's your routine.
Yeah.
You make toast and a cup of coffee. And there's this routine, there's this habitual thing that you're doing, almost in a rut, and that's the routine.
Yeah.
And it really is the same at the end of the day, the evening routine. Do we put the dishwasher on? Yeah, well, I do. I decided I do, regardless of what's in it. I put it on, I'm personally one who I have to put on my clothes the night before what I'm going to wear the next day because I can't do the decision in the morning.
Yeah.
So this sort of thing where routines come in. And even midday routines such as exercise routines.
Yes, I do have that. But also, hilariously, the first thing I do first thing in the morning, whether I'm working or not, is I feed the cats. I have 2 of them, and I have 2 planets in the 6th house. So there you go.
Oh, so there's your 2 cats. So which can you reckon, which you've got 2 cats, which one would you say is personality-wise of Eris and which one's more of Chiron? I mean, we got to say it, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, Ripley is definitely the disruptor, and Callie, bless her little damaged heart, is super. Yeah, she's Chiron for sure. Everyone is like, what is the matter with your cat? Why is she so shy? Why is she afraid of everything? I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully it'll just make her stronger in the end.
But then if we talk about routines, I mean, you can have a rigorous routine and you say, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do, 10 miles on the treadmill and swim 50 lengths or whatever people do when they go to the gym. Who knows what they do? Because I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
But it's a pattern. It becomes a pattern in your life that sets you up to occupy your day that you do every day so that you can go and do everything else you have to do.
Yeah.
So you wash the dishes, you cook the food, and these are things you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to talk about then is lifestyle hobbies, which I think you also alluded to earlier, right?
For sure.
So these are different so 6th house hobbies are different to 5th house hobbies. With 5th house hobbies, you make pottery and you've got a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas with lifestyle hobbies, what I'm talking about here is like yoga people.
Yeah.
Tai Chi people.
Yeah.
Meditation people.
Totally. Praying hands emoji for sure. Yeah.
Yes. So any lifestyle hobbies you may have I want to say self-care, really.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I would like to think I had some, but
yeah, and I mean book clubs. I mean that's more of an 11th house thing, but it's also kind of if you're doing it for self-improvement,
or you're reading books even.
I mean, yeah,
you read it. I want to read a book, 50 books this year or something.
Yeah, which is definitely a thing I do for sure.
Well, you're I mean, this has never occurred to me at all, but so far this year I've read 2 books and we're only in the 3rd week in January. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how did I do that?
Yeah.
But it's not something I normally do.
Yeah.
So, but that sort of thing where you say, I need to improve, learn a bit more, build maybe some skills that I can apply to my job or to my healthcare routine. Or
like online learning.
Online learning.
For sure. Yeah. And actually, it's funny. I have a friend, I'm not sure where things lie in her houses because, of course, she doesn't know what time she's born. But she is taking a course right now, or 2 actually, and in order to, better her thing as a teacher. So there's these courses you take, and then you can become a little bit, better as a teacher and higher standing, and I assume a bump in pay and all that stuff. So those types of things are definitely, I would think, like a 6th house thing.
Yes.
Just anything that's self-improvement or,
It's the recent now, December, I started learning a new language. I don't think I've even spoken to you about this yet. I'm learning Arabic now.
Wow.
I know. And it came to me, but the long story. But anyway, the point is I've started with it. I've got a couple of books now. I've started practicing the script.
Cool.
And I can now at least recognize the language when I see it, whereas before I couldn't have said that was this or the other. But I'm at the absolute beginning.
Oh, that is so cool.
But
what a beautiful language, too. It's just one of the most beautiful written languages.
It's, I was attracted to it for a couple of reasons. But one was that it's got these symbols, similar to astrology charts, similar to crochet patterns, where if you can read it, you can understand it.
Yeah.
And that, too, was... So anyway.
Very cool.
And that might be a work in progress for the next 10 years, but it's something that I've never done ever before.
Yeah.
And thank you, Pluto. And it's making me do all these. Yeah, I know.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, your lifestyle hobbies. I've dabbled with yoga, but I've never quite got into, I don't know.
I know it. There's just something so slow and meditative about it. And I don't like meditating either.
But you do your stairs, you see. That's where you're coming in every day.
Yeah. Well, not every day, but I try to every day. Yeah. And if, otherwise I will be going outside to do something.
Okay, so there you have it. You see, it is there.
If it's warm enough, I'll be outside skating and whatever. Yeah, I went for the first skate of the year already. The other day. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, when we say Arwynne's taking the stairs, it means she's walking up, 24 flights?
Yes, 24 flights of stairs 6 times. Ugh.
Yes, so all hail that, because I just, that's my exercise. You're an inspiration to us all.
Thank you.
Planets in the 6th house.
And that's also how I get a lot of audiobooks read. Read in quotes, because some people don't consider it reading, but who cares about those people? But it's always...
So let me ask you, would you say that on some days, say there's some frustration or something, would you then take the stairs to work through that frustration and heal the pressure in your head almost?
Normally I would say no, but there was one time, and this is back when I, a couple of years ago, had a job that I was very, very unhappy with, and I had applied for a different job. And I had a very unpleasant conversation with my current boss, who had the power of yes, no, whether or not I was going to be, Yeah, and we had this very acrimonious conversation, and it was not great. And I ended up doing the stairs out of complete rage and crying, which is not a good look. I'm sure that the security guards who have their cameras were like, what's happening with her? But I ended up doing them 12 times that day. And I almost lost count, but I kind of went back and thought about it afterwards. And I was like, I think that was 12 times. Wow. But normally, no. Normally, I'm not, I'm not that.
You're not burning it through.
No. No.
Okay.
Yeah, normally if I get upset, I'll just yell and cry or something like that.
Yeah.
And,
For those of you interested in a little more, I'm now offering online astrology seasonal sessions. So there's one session in each of the solar seasonal mid-months, which will be February, May, August and November. I'll be chatting about advanced astrology topics through a Zoom presentation. If you're interested, check out the link for my seasonal sessions in the show notes below. Now back to the episode. I was just wondering if you were tapping into that Chiron just to heal the...
Yeah, luckily I don't have that many days where I feel like that type of frustration.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, that would be more of an outlet for me than getting wasted, drunk, or eating an entire cake, or you know what I mean? Like, I would probably do something more aggressive and active, burn off the frustration than wallowing.
Yeah.
You know. Or just go to bed and try to sleep through it.
Yes.
But of course, those are the times when your thoughts are racing and you can't actually get to sleep. So
that's right.
There's no point in that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So next up, we do have pets and small animal care, and we have alluded to this again. You've got your cats.
Yeah.
Here we go. 2 planets in the 6th house. Yeah. She's got 2 cats.
And they always say, well, not they always, but one meme said, if anyone has 2 cats, one is a beautiful idiot and the other is a demon from hell. So, guilty as charged.
Wow.
I know. I read that somewhere. I was like, oh, brother, they know me.
Yeah. And have you always had cats? Have you always had pets?
Well, not always, but I've always wanted to, and I grew up with them. So there was a time, in my adult life where we didn't for quite a few years, and then they fortunately entered our lives. And because cats, you don't go shopping for a cat the way you do a dog. They just kind of stumble into your life.
They find you, yes.
Yeah, so that happened. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So what about other small animals then? And typically, the traditionally, it's animals smaller than a goat.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
So dogs, cats, birds, goldfish.
Yes.
What else do they have? Budgies.
Yeah.
Hamsters, guinea pigs.
I've never been into rodents.
No.
No, I mean, I had a friend who had a guinea pig once, and it was cute. I can't swear on this podcast, but it, let's say, left leavings everywhere. Little leavings, like just little pellets, like a trail. And that's not cool. No, that's yikes. I don't want a pet that has to be in jail all the time, like in a little cage, or else it's leaving pellets everywhere. That's gross. And they're cute, but it's not worth it. No. I know lots of people who have things like snakes and turtles. Turtles are great, actually. I do like a turtle.
I once shared a house with a guy who had snakes.
Yeah.
I know. And of course, to start with, it wasn't quite clear to me. And then there was this sort of small room, and I said, what's in that room? Oh, that's the snake room. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? Well, there was racks of tanks with... And it was just...
Like many snakes, not just like 2.
No, multiple species. And the prize was this python thing. And it was like, I didn't stay. I didn't. It was, if you're going to have a roommate or a housemate, they need to come up front with, they've got snakes. Because that's
not like a third date revelation. Like that's
it wasn't even someone I was dating. We were just sharing the house. Oh my God. I got my kids. The python just was the final straw.
Yeah.
And because at first I thought, oh my gosh, and because you can't see them when you first look at the cage, you think the cage is empty.
Sure, yeah, and then it's not. I've been okay with snakes in like a one, at a time thing. The huge ones, no, because if it's like big enough to kill you, if it gets free, and if it pretty much is the kind of snake that wants to kill you, like I had a friend who had a boa, like literally these snakes, if they get big enough, they want to kill you. You lived in Africa, you know.
Yes.
Like why a smaller snake? Like there's some albino. I think it might be a python, but it's a slender kind of like it's a lovely snake.
That yellow one.
Yeah, it's a lovely accessory. And I knew a burlesque dancer who had snakes, and she came and posed one time for us in this drawing class I used to do with her albino python, and it was beautiful. And I can't remember its name, but maybe it was Lily, or it was a cute name. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. Great drawings. I mean, my God, like it was a 3-hour just tour de force of wonderful poses and this beautiful snake. But I don't. I like things you can pet, and
of course,
like a nice fuzzy little face, and nice little velvety ears, big fluffy tail. I'm a fan of that kind of thing. I do like turtles, though. I've never owned a turtle, but and also iguanas. They're actually very affectionate, strangely enough, but not chameleons. Okay. Now this is where we go into a weird tangent. I had a friend who had a chameleon once, and the cool thing about chameleons is that they look neat. And they're very like Art Deco and kind of cool. They are sketchy AF though. They're not like a normal, animal where they behave like in a way that you'd predict. Like iguanas, for example, you can actually hold, and they will cuddle up to you like a little cat. They look like a tiny dinosaur, and I'm not shy. We're gonna get all sorts of emails from iguana people and be like, no, that is wrong. This is a different kind of. Okay, so maybe it was like one of those bearded iguanas. I'm not sure. They're the kind that's like the size of a cat. Whatever. Right. And a friend of mine had one of those, and it was actually nice and affectionate, and I could hold it if I wanted to, and you could feed it lettuce and whatnot. They're great. Chameleons eat crickets, which means
mosquitoes.
Yeah. Obviously you're going to choose as a pet owner to have a bunch of crickets as opposed to like letting mosquitoes loose in your apartment. But when I say loose, I had a friend who was pretty much new to having a chameleon, and the crickets got loose in her apartment. And crickets look a lot like giant cockroaches. I'll just let you know that if you aren't aware. So when we would go to her place, and I would be like in the bathroom, and I'd hear this like weird squeaking cricket noise, and I'm like, what in the? And she's like, oh, the crickets got loose. I'm like, are you gonna like let the chameleon loose to like catch them? How do we resolve this? Just wait for them to die? Like, how's this gonna work? Yeah. So needless to say, I didn't go visit very often after that. And also chameleons are weirdly unpredictable. Like she was cleaning a cage, and she's like, oh, here, hold this stick. And he'll just stay on the end of the stick. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like a little branch, right? And so but if you tilt the branch, she's like, okay, if you tilt the branch, he'll go up to the highest point. I'm like, okay, cool. This will keep him occupied for like a minute. And sure enough, he got bored of that like 10 seconds into me holding the branch, and then just decided to book up the branch towards me. I'm like, what do I take this, please? Like, Anyway, they're not as friendly as iguanas. Let's just say that. No. But yeah, so 6th house pet for sure.
Yeah.
It's smaller than a goat.
Yeah. And I only really like cats if all said and done. Yeah,
cats are great. Yeah.
Cat person. Yeah.
I like birds that talk, but I've never had one, nor would I want one. But I like the idea.
Of what?
A bird that talks.
Oh no!
No, yeah, that's true. They smell terrible though. And again, we're going to have the bird people on us. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, when I had all the kids at home, we had all these animals, and it just never ended, There was just so much going on. But anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, 6th house is pets. And here you have pets.
2 pets, yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is small plants too. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have tons of plants.
And this is also medicinal plants as well, and herbs. Medicinal herbs, or, plants that... aloes and whatnot.
We have an aloe.
Well, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Because you've got, why do we know this? Because you've got plants in the 6th house.
Yeah, for sure. Can't say I use it, but,
No. But all small plants, all, stuff like that.
So do we want to talk about what, or are we done with the list of qualities?
We have.
Okay, I feel like we should talk about like a couple of main placements in the house.
Oh yeah, we can. You mean of planets? Yeah.
Yeah, like the sun, or
Yeah, I've got a list. I've got a little bit of a list. Yeah. So, well, yeah, why not? Because clearly that's Let's get back on track here, Arwynne.
Just iguanas and chameleons. Oh my God, what's wrong?
I know. So we would then start with sun in the 6th house.
There we go.
Some words I have is work identity and vitality through service. Sun in the 6th house, it's work.
Yeah.
Now, in my relocated chart, because I was born in England, my relocated chart for Vancouver, the sun is in my 6th house, and I have never worked so hard in my life until I came to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Ever. And I am still working hard now, that more than I did when I was 21. It's just
Well, there's the podcast, and then there's the art, and then there's the website, and then there's the lessons and the consulting. Yeah.
So that is definitely it's the work identity. You identify them with the work, saying, I'm the so and so, and of course your vitality is your sun. So by doing the work, you become vitalized. I think too. It is a two-way street. It's not just,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Any thoughts on that?
I am thinking of, I don't know if I have anyone off the top of my head who has a sixth house sun.
I don't know anybody, as I say. It's just in my relocated, so that's how I, happen to know it. Yeah.
For sure.
So let's move on then. So then the moon in the sixth. So I'm saying here, emotional connections to work and health.
Yeah. And possibly a mother who's in some sort of healing profession, maybe, or a mother who you need to care for, maybe later in life, or not so much later. Yeah.
Or working in a restaurant, or all the moon things, right?
Yeah, food service.
Food services.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, chefs.
Chefs.
Maybe that might be more of a 10th house identity, but you have to start somewhere. Maybe you start in the kitchen and
doing the dishes, and that would be definitely a success.
Yes, chef. If anyone watches The Bear, shout out to The Bear. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also, but again, it's your work as well. So it's your work and your health. So health-related things with the moon are going to be anything to do with the breast or the fluids of the body, basically, and the stomach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas health issues with the sun is the heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not, right?
Right. So would having a sun in the sixth house be an indicator of health, like a healthy heart, or would you want to be on the lookout?
You'd be on the lookout.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons to get your steps in is if you have sixth house.
Yes, absolutely. Sun, any planets there are indications of the type of how your health is going to be weak.
Yeah.
So then with Mercury in the sixth house.
Yeah.
Analytical work and mental focus.
Yep.
This is a brilliant position for anyone who's working as a
editor,
writer, secretary,
journalist, secretary. Yeah, for sure. Editing other people's words, maybe more so than writing your own.
Yes.
And
teaching.
a paralegal, something like that. Something where you're organizing other people's thoughts and words.
Because they can bring their mind to work and actually use it. So. Whereas some of us maybe don't,
ChatGPT.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And then Venus in the sixth house. So my thoughts here are harmony in work and health routines. Mm-hmm. So it's very pleasant to work with people who've got Venus there because they want to make it pleasant and they love what they do and so on. So Venus in the sixth house is also going to incline you to want to do work in Venus-related things.
Right. Makeup artist.
Yes.
Designer, what's the word? Decorator, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And also maybe the person in the office who is always trying to organize a party or...
I always think of Jennifer in WKRP.
Oh my God, I love her.
As her in the office.
Big giant helmet, blonde hair.
And she kind of didn't do anything, but...
She was so smart, though. That's one of the things I loved about her. Oh, she was one of my early idols. You just said the trigger word there. Yeah,
Good
I love
Lord.
Jennifer.
Yeah. And then health issues with Venus.
Yeah.
The one I usually come up with is because Venus rules sweet things, therefore sugar. We come up with diabetes.
Yeah, for sure.
That's about it, yeah. And maybe throat, perhaps, Mm-hmm. And then Mars in the sixth house, I'm suggesting energy and drive in work and health.
Mm-hmm. An active job, a physical job.
Yeah, they pitch up, they break eggs with big sticks and get things done. Yeah.
Yeah, I just pictured that. Yeah, or someone, just someone who does something very physical, someone who's good with their hands, someone who's tinkering all the time, maybe.
Fireman or even.
Yeah, fireman, exactly. I was thinking that.
Yeah, actively doing things and not just sitting on a chair all day.
The neighborhood watch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, getting cats out of trees or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so with Jupiter in the sixth house, I'm suggesting growth through work and health.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Totally. Yeah. But you being a health influencer, maybe?
Maybe.
Or building a career through helping others with their health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trainer, personal trainer, something like that.
Or they think their job's bigger than it really is.
Yeah, it could be. Who's that guy in the office?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy.
That guy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Saturn in the 6th house, I'm suggesting discipline and responsibility in routines.
Mm-hmm.
So we got your timetable, you got your list.
Yeah.
And it's 10 reps of this and 10 Ks and 5 laps. And I don't know what people do, right?
Yeah.
You do your laundry on a Monday and ironing on a Tuesday or something. Or
the HR person, the fun police.
Yes. Yeah. That's contented. And then, of course, illnesses, which we spoke of previously, with,
right?
Colds and flus and anything to do
anything with the bones.
Yeah,
and Saturn, and also government work, I would think.
Yes.
Your low level, like not politicians, which would be 10th house, but government is made of
lots and lots of
millions
people,
of jobs.
Lots of people. Yeah. So then, with Uranus in the 6th house, I'm suggesting innovation and unpredictability at work and health.
Yeah.
This, unfortunately, is a position of fragmented jobs, unemployment, getting laid off, chop changing, breakdowns, breakups with the jobs, and so on.
You retrain to do something, and then that job is eliminated, or you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're in constant flux with this because there's always something new on the horizon, but anyway. Yeah.
Or maybe you write a daily horoscope, and that's because Uranus rules astrology.
That's a good one.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be the famous astrologer, but you might be prolific.
Exactly.
And do it as a daily labor.
Or even as a guest writer horoscope person. Yeah.
For sure.
And then with Neptune in the 6th house, I'm suggesting idealism and creativity in work and health.
Yeah. Film editor. Something to do with
YouTube editor.
Yeah. Oh my
Where
gosh.
are you? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Podcast editor. Come on.
Right. Yeah.
Photographer.
All of
those lovely Neptune things.
Bartender.
Yeah, bartender. Yeah. What do they call the wine people? Sommelier. Yes. Yeah.
The bartenders are the aristocrats of the working class. That's a quote from Cocktail. I'm all about the 80s movies today. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway.
Wow. I bet they have a special drink and all the rest of it. Yeah. Okay, then let's have a look at Pluto in the 6th house.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting there transformation through work and health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are we saying? Work is transforming.
Yeah. Or something to do with your work being in an underworld or hidden or...
The jobs no one else wants.
Right, exactly. Your undertaker, your
gynecologist.
Yeah, exactly.
Those people who were there at the birth and the death. And,
exactly. Yeah.
But it's you got to dig deep, I think, when you've got that placement too.
For sure. A medical examiner. I mean, yeah. I used to watch all those CSI.
Oh, did you? Oh, no, I couldn't.
I love those shows. Yeah, it's the first thing I do if I'm in a hotel room. I'm trying to find the Law and Order or CSI or FBI files or something. I want to see an autopsy and I want to see it now.
Oh, my goodness.
As soon as I get into a hotel room, because of course we don't have cable.
Yeah.
We just watch the YouTube. But yes. So, medical examiner, there's one for you. Yeah. Or mafia.
Yes. And then Chiron in the 6th house, healing work and health. So, it is an indication of doing healing work.
Yeah. And here we are.
Or working as a mentor or a guide or something like that as well.
Hashtag goals. That's,
Yes. And clearly, if it's not a high profile planet, although it is... looking at your one, it's that apex planet on the Thor's hammer. However, but you're not in the healing business, are you? You're not.
No. But I do like to consider myself an intellectual inspiration to others. What's the word?
Ooh.
Because we're both of a certain age, I guess, and I do have a lot of friends who are younger than me, by quite a lot, and I like to consider myself
as a mentor.
In a way, not in a formal sense yet. Who knows what the future may hold? But people ask me questions, and I like to, be honest and give them helpful advice. I'm not the kind of person who's just like, oh, you'll sort it out. I always like to, as a Virgo, like to give people very practical advice and I see that expanding as I get older too,
Interesting.
Yeah. And one day maybe I will have, we don't say underlings, what do we say? Subordinates.
Subordinates.
But hopefully they won't be, of the Chiron and Eris nature, because that would just be like, yikes. Yeah. Have a team of disruptors. Although, I don't know, that could be cool too.
But do you see you are that in that role as well, right? That's especially particularly with your blog. That is Aristotle.
I can be a little disruptive, yeah.
Oh, really? A little, yeah.
Who's paying? I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know.
I think
who's
so.
Reading.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just have funnily enough, I got the North Node in the 6th house. I don't know why I threw that bit in because I don't have the South Node.
I love the North Node, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying here a destiny through service and wellness. So it is, of course, your destiny where you're walking towards. It's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
No, I would say to serve and help others, basically.
Absolutely. And because the South Node then would be in the 12th house, that's really bringing that past, whether it's your childhood or your past life or whatever that previous incarnation that we remember from something.
Yeah.
That in some kind of institutional or transformative or crisis or revolutionary or hidden sort of realm, and bringing that forward into service and helping others. So maybe that past was something in the prison system or the priesthood or the hospitals or the nunnery or what have you, or somewhere, hidden and underground where you couldn't.
The Knights Templar.
Right, exactly. And now you are able to help, but only through your works and your duties and your habits and through your everyday actually doing it are you able to help and bring it forth. Wow. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think also when we back in the day did our old podcast, I think the North Node in the 6th house was I had movies for all of them, and Wall-E, the wonderful animated movie, was my example of like the North Node in 6th house, because he's the sole survivor of our planet, and he's this little robot, and he's just a cleaning robot who's like going around trying to find like signs of life in this like dead garbage planet that's left over after the humans have just like used up everything and all the resources are just gone. Okay. And it's just like piles of trash and like, broken skyscrapers, and this little robot is there, and he's just like trying to clean up and find signs of life.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, that's tragic, but I mean, it ends happily. So spoiler alert.
Wow.
Yeah, great movie, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen it.
Okay.
Wall-E, yeah.
Okay, so we've had a look at the 6th house. We've explored a few of the main themes that go on in the 6th house. And of course, there are many themes that are related to the 6th house.
Sure.
I do have some book recommendations. I'll put them in the show notes below.
Great.
So to our listeners, if you found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with somebody else. And make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. Ensure that you're getting Arwynne's blog, her newsletter, and she is at...
I'm at mspink.net. That's mspink.net. And I publish my newsletter every Saturday. So please go and sign up, and look forward to writing for you.
Yes. She's always got a lot going on there.
Thank you.
So, Arwynne, I want to thank you for joining me once more with this podcast.
Thank you. It's been great.
And thanks so much to our listeners.
Absolutely. And we will see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the two main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer or someone who's learning astrology, or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there. Or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.